What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another very exciting video. In this video, we're going to talk about a stock that I have not talked about on the channel in a while, but it is a stock that I do like for the long term, and that is SoFi Technologies. SoFi Technologies actually announced their earnings earlier this week, and overall, investors have been reacting in a very positive way. The stock is up in a major way over the last couple of days. So we are going to go into those earnings, take a look at what was announced and what was talked about. Then we're going to take a look at analyst projections for the next year for SoFi. And we're going to close out the video by looking at a company that is comparable to SoFi in the online banking industry, and basically get a feel for where SoFi could be headed in the future. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like down below. And if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure you hit that sub button. Before we jump into all of that, let's take a look at SoFi's chart. So here today, the stock was up almost 6.5% in a single trading day, which is absolutely insane. We can see there was kind of a low here of the day of around $6.88, and then a high of the day around $7.45. So a pretty big move up there from SoFi. But when you zoom out and actually look at the last 5 days, the stock has gone absolutely insane. It is up over 25%. And again, that is coming on the back of their earnings. So investors were really looking forward to earnings. And SoFi is a stock that I have followed for over a year now. And every time they announce earnings, it seems like the stock is moving in a major way up. And the question is always, can the stock sustain that move up? And so far, it's been a rough year. We've seen SoFi actually over the last 6 months is up 15%. But when you zoom out to the last year, you could see that the stock is actually down almost 40%. So down in a major way. And we could see that those lows, the 52-week low is sitting at $4.24, with the 52-week high at $13.41, coming basically a year ago around this time. For the fourth quarter, SoFi announced a net loss of $40 million or 5 cents per share. This is compared to a year prior when they announced $111 million in losses or 15 cents per share. Total net revenue rose to $456.7 million from $285.6 million. This also beat analysts' projections of $423 million. And what helped contribute to these revenue growth numbers was that total deposits at SoFi Bank rose by 46% year over year. However, the biggest catalyst for the stock price was what's highlighted in green here. SoFi expects that it could generate positive GAAP net income in the fourth quarter of 2023. So basically what they are saying is they are going, or projecting that they are going to get to profitability by the end of 2023. And we could jump over to Yahoo Finance and actually take a look at where analysts are projecting the stock for 2023 and 2024 in terms of earnings. And we could see in 2023, there were 12 analysts covering the stock, and we could see that the average estimate was a net loss of 26 cents, with a low estimate of a net loss of 38 and a high estimate with a net loss of 16 cents. But what gets very interesting is when we actually jump over and look at 2024 numbers. So there are 10 analysts covering 2024 numbers. They have an average estimate of a net loss of 4 cents, with a low estimate of a net loss of 23 cents and a high estimate with a net gain of 24 cents. What's very interesting are these last two numbers that I highlighted in green. So you have here a net loss of 23 cents. And that, when we look at the average estimate for 2023, is still an improvement year over year. So that is absolutely massive. Basically, analysts are saying that even next year, if the stock underperforms, the company does not grow its numbers by as much as they're expecting, they just experience a small amount of growth, that they are still going to do better than they are this year. And then when you look again at their average number, obviously that is a great improvement compared to where they're currently sitting at. But what gets very interesting is when you look at the high estimate. So the high estimate is actually 24 cents, a net gain of 24 cents. Right now, SoFi, their guidance is saying that they might only have a profitable EPS in the fourth quarter. But basically what analysts are saying here is if the stock overperforms throughout the year, we could actually see a few quarters of net gains from SoFi Technologies. And just to put that in perspective, we can take the current price and the projected EPS for next year at again, this is the high estimate. This isn't the average expectation. This is if SoFi overperforms by a great amount over the next year, then the current PE ratio would be sitting at a 31.08, which isn't unreasonable. Again, especially if the company grows in a very significant way and continues to keep growing in a very significant way, then a 31 PE ratio is not really out of the realm of possibility. But what's very interesting is when we look at how that compares to some of its competitors. The closest comp to SoFi Technologies is Ally Financial, and in my opinion, it is not a perfect comp. Ally is most well known for their savings accounts. If you Google them or look them up on YouTube, you will often find a bunch of videos talking about how they have a great savings account. They have a very high yield on their savings account. I don't know what it's at right now. I think I've seen numbers anywhere from 3 to 4% right now on their yield for their savings account, which is massive, especially when you compare it to any other bank that gives you 0.1% per year. So they are most well known for that, where SoFi is a lot more well known for having a great user interface and a place where basically any financial instrument that you're looking for, you can find on SoFi. So if you're looking for money market accounts, you can find them on SoFi, checking accounts, savings accounts, mortgages, student loans, anything like that. You can find all of those well advertised on SoFi, and SoFi has done a lot better job of advertising as well. So they have experienced a significant amount of growth in a very short amount of time, where Ally, hasn't really had as much of a big focus on expanding its user base. There are a couple positives when you look at Ally compared to SoFi. So Ally actually trades at a very deep discount. So when we look at its PE ratio, it's sitting at a 6.71 PE ratio, which is absolutely insane when you think about the market that tends to trade, anywhere from like 17, 18 up to like a 22, 23. So it's trading at a very low valuation compared to the market. And that also comes from the fact that it does earn money. So the trailing 12-month earnings is $5.04, which again is absolutely massive for a stock that you're only paying $33.84 for. And on top of that, they also have a dividend. So their dividend yield is sitting around 3.8%, which again is a fairly healthy dividend yield. And Ally is kind of an in-between, where they are not like a Bank of America that's very, very well established and kind of ingrained, but they also aren't a SoFi where they are, very focused on growth over earnings. So Ally is kind of somewhere in between, where, they are still growing and they do still have growth ahead of them, but they are not, solely growth focused. So they're kind of almost a best of both worlds if you're looking for something kind of in between, a SoFi and a Bank of America or JP Morgan. Jumping back to SoFi, this is a stock that I do like for the long term. As I mentioned, I think that they have a lot of growth in front of them. I think they have far more growth and growth potential than an Ally Bank. It's just a matter of time for them to really work through a lot of, the user growth that they need to see, and they want to get their numbers up in a very big way and get people onto the platform and kind of keep incentivizing people to use the platform and their different tools that they have available. With that said, we've seen obviously money become more and more expensive. So it is great to see that SoFi has a plan to get to profitability over the next year. I think that is going to be massive. The big thing that I want to see is I want to see SoFi get back into the zone that we kind of saw back in here in early 2021 all the way through to the end of 2021. They really traded in this kind of range where they would go down to around this $15 mark and then actually bounce back up to this $20 to $23 mark, and then kind of just traded between that over and over again. I'd love to see them, get back into this $15 range. That's where I think the stock is, very well priced. I think right now the stock has just been beaten down because a lot of people are concerned about capital and basically the availability of capital to SoFi for them to kind of continue growing. But I think with them getting to profitability over the next year or two, the one thing I hope that SoFi continues to focus on is also the growth of their user base. That is going to be huge moving forward. So with that said, again, keep in mind, these are all my opinion. I did want to draw the comp between Ally, because if you are looking for something safer than SoFi, but also has a little bit of growth in front of it, I think Ally is a great option. I haven't ran through all of the numbers and looked at it, but you could see, again, their P ratio is very low. They're trading at a deep discount. When you're buying companies that with that deep of a discount, there's still a lot of growth in front of them. SoFi is a lot more of a speculative play. So if you want a company that has a lot more growth ahead of it, then SoFi is a lot more in tune with that vision. And if you look at the market caps between the two, you can kind of see the similarities, because right now Ally's trading around a market cap of around $10 billion, I believe. And then SoFi is somewhere, 6 to 7 billion. So they have almost a 33% upside before they get in line with where Ally is trading. But really what SoFi needs to do is they need to get their user numbers up, and they need to show that they can kind of get to a profitable state, and that, profitability is in the cards in the future. So again, overall, my opinion, I would love to hear what your guys' thoughts are on these two stocks. Again, I do own SoFi. I do not actually own any Ally, but after kind of looking at this, I might have to look more in depth into Ally and, see if it's a potential addition, maybe to like a dividend type of account, because if they are able to grow their dividends, time year over year, I think Ally could be a good company to potentially turn into a dividend aristocrat in the future. So that's just kind of my opinion. Again, I'd love to hear yours down in the comment section below. But overall, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below. And if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure you hit that sub button. And as always, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day.